Hello everybody, welcome to ZanZanA. I have the pleasure tonight to have with me Mr. Mark Jansen about EPICA last album, Ωmega. Hi Mark.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a great pleasure. You know, when we spoke last time, it was in June. For this show, you spoke to me about a little bit. You can't in that moment speak too much about the album, but now it's here. 26 February, the 8th album, finally.
Yes, it's very proud of it, and then now it's going to happen, so I'm very excited.
Yeah. And you're not alone that is excited. All the fans, I think. Benjamin is here. Can't wait, but I'm ready.
Yeah.
Larry Stevenson is here. Hi, Larry. Yeah, Mariam Bahri is here with lots of hearts, as usual, from Mariam.
And fire.
And fire. EPICA is the best ever. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Akesha Gates is here. Hi, Akesha. Benjamin Goedenavond, Mark. I think this is
good evening in Dutch.
Good evening in
Yes.
Dutch. Yeah.
Goedenavond, Benjamin.
Shaila for me. Test 1 2 1 2. Do you guys see my comments? Yes.
We
you
do.
can see it. Oh, love you, Mark.
More love.
Mark, do you think EPICA would work with children chord on the next album? Wait, let's speak about this album.
First this one. We are not thinking about the next one yet. As long as the album is not released, this is our next album.
Yes. She be best growl ever.
Thank you very much.
Hello from Belarus.
Belarus.
Yeah. And Paula Désiré. Hello,
Hi.
Mark.
Hi, Paula.
Sanderton and
greetings from Reuven. That's where I'm born, the town where I'm born. So
yeah. Hello from Brazil. Wow.
Yes. Brazil is amazing.
Hello from Brazil. They already released Rivers featuring children choir. Yeah, it's an answer. And Ωmega will be really perfect album. Yeah, lots. Thank you very much for being with us. So let's speak a little bit, Mark. Yes, congratulations for this album.
Thank you so much.
Listen to all the songs of the album because I didn't have the. I was not VIP at this time.
Yeah.
But the few that I listened and all the teaser that you made, on the EPICA channel, gave us an idea of very, very, very hard work.
Yeah, there was a lot of work, and we worked very hard on the album. And the good thing is we had a lot of time for it, so we didn't have to rush anything. And due to the pandemic, we had even more time, so we could work as long as we wanted. And I think that really paid off. That all the details we dived into and all the extra work we did really paid off. And I think I'm more than happy with this album. I think it's like when you take all the albums from EPICA, the past albums, and we took from the strong points from all these albums, and we tried to integrate them into one new EPICA album. So that's Ωmega.
Yeah. As you said, I think this album is like a maturity album, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's the major EPICA of and the best we could do at this point by all the things we learned from the past experiences.
Yeah, all the things you learned, and there's an orchestra from Prague, symphonic orchestra. Yeah. there's a children choir, there's a children choir on a church, there's lots of instruments, and even we're in Tunisia, there's ZanZanA.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a Tunisian link this time.
Yeah. So, how this album was think before recording it? What was the idea first?
I missed a bit the question because there was kind of a hiccup.
Okay. So what was the idea first before recording the album?
Yeah, we had two ideas. First of all, we wanted to make an album that had some songs that would really do well on a festival setting. So, for example, we noticed that a song like Beyond the Matrix on the previous album was really doing well on festivals. And we thought we want to have a couple of more songs like that we would easily be playing on a festival, where there's also people that don't know the band, they see it for the first time, and they already get into such kind of songs easily. And the second thing was we wanted to create more space on the album and more dynamic. So song-wise, to have a nice balance on the whole album, but also mixing-wise, to have more space in the mix, that it's nicer when you listen to the album from beginning to the end, that you have a nice listening experience, instead of that it can get too much for the ears to process.
Yeah, and I will say it in French, vous avez mis les moyens. This time you work with lots of people. You put the, I say it in English. Vous avez mis les moyens. It's you took the effort to put the to work with a lot of people and to make it big.
Yeah, it's already when you work with a choir and an orchestra, then the amount of people is insanely big. So because there's so many people involved. But next to that, we had also a couple of guests. We had some guest musicians also for percussion. We also worked with oriental musicians from Calcutta. So we recorded with a lot of people this time, but everything came together. And then when you have it finished, it feels like such beautiful group effort with so many people. They put all their heart and soul in it. It's a beautiful process.
Yeah, thank God that the process began before pandemic.
Yeah,
there was lots of idea in this album. So who took the lead really? Because always there's someone who has to take the lead.
Yeah, we are in our band. There's not someone who takes the lead about everything, but the producer Joost, he keeps, for example, the overview of the schedules and the songs. Personally, I keep the overview of if everything is in balance song-wise, and everybody takes certain leads. Isaac takes leads over the guitars. And so everybody has their responsibilities, and within their responsibilities, they have then the leading role to judge about that. And that works really well for us. So everybody is equally important, and everybody brings equally things to the table that makes the album grow. And I think that's the biggest strength of EPICA. Everybody puts their egos aside and just goes for the best result.
Yeah, and the composition process, writing the music process, because I think that all members of the band gave some ideas, like rivers. I think it's everyone came with an idea for this album. So how were the discussions? How were the negotiations? I think.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. We don't do negotiations. It's like when 5 people say this song is not good enough, that the song gets off the table, and so that guy can then negotiate as much as he wants. Then the song definitely not going to make it. But everybody knows that, and that's also part of the process. putting the ego aside, because you know when nobody likes your song, it's simply not good enough. It's sometimes painful because you yourself love a certain song, but if nobody likes it, it's simply not good enough. That you have to be honest to yourself. And that's what I really like about this maturity that the band has achieved. Of course, when you go in the beginning of a band, then people fighting for the ideas, even when they feel like it's not in the best for the band. And this is purely for the best result, and that is the only thing you can do when everybody puts that ego aside and just goes for the best songs. And everybody writing songs, indeed, every member of the band, the guys, they all write songs. Simone writes vocal lines. So everybody contributes to the songwriting. And then you get also very versatile ideas. And you get, every song has its own identity. And that's what I also really like about this album, that there's so many different ideas, but all sound typically epica.
Yeah. Mark, what is a good song?
For me, a good song is when it touches you in the heart. So when I get goosebumps, when I listen to a song and I get goosebumps, then I know it's a good song. And then it doesn't even matter how well played it is, because back in the 70s, there's some songs, they weren't played so well, but they give you goosebumps. And then it's a great song for me. Nowadays, the standard of recording has been so high, you cannot get away anymore with mistakes on an album. But for me, a good song is, when it really touches you in the heart, when you get goosebumps from it.
Yeah. Mohamed Kileni, counting down to O'Mega. Can't wait. The word definitely need this.
Yeah.
Mohamed Kileni, what is the songwriting process in the band? About the leader, there's no leader. We know now. Is there a democracy of a kind? One guy decides for all. Yeah.
That's it. We are very much a democracy. So everybody is deciding. Just when there's something crucial about the sound of the band, then I can make like a final decision. If nobody can agree, there's like 50-50. I make a final decision then. But that's just because to move on at a certain point. I'm like the keeper of the epica sound, but within that, everybody has equal say, and everybody brings a lot of ideas to the table. It's really a group effort.
Yeah. We know that a song can be written a certain way, and after there's a process in a band that, with rehearsal and things like this, the song can change and evolve. Did you have the time for making this before going to record? Because we all know the album is out on February 26th, but there was the lockdown and other things that blocked everyone. So did you have the right time to make the song evolve?
Yeah, to explain you a bit the way we worked, everybody collected ideas on its own and worked already on some songs, sometimes already with other people. Like I worked with Isaac on Kingdom of Heaven a lot, Kingdom of Heaven Part 3. It was like a 50-50 cooperation between the both of us. And then at a certain point, when we had enough ideas, we came together and we rented a house in the Netherlands where we stayed for 5 days together and worked on each other's tracks until we were all satisfied about all the tracks. And that was a very fruitful way of working. We felt like the songs were really lifted to the next level. And also Simone was there, worked a lot on vocal lines with Joost, the producer, and us. And when we had these 5 days done, we started rehearsing the songs. And then when we rehearsed the songs, we did a pre-production where we recorded all the songs the way we had in mind. Then we could still change some details here and there and fine-tune the details. Then when we had everything recorded, all with also samples for the keyboards, then we started really recording it for real and with a real orchestra. So it's like a huge process until you really record the album. And so every song has gone through many layers of discussions before we actually recorded it for real.
Yeah, you need to have appointment and meetings, professional meetings, because you live in Sicily. Simone lives in Germany. The other band, I think they live in Holland. So you have to make a kind of brainstorming thing.
Yeah, we do a lot by the internet anyway. But when we have band meetings, we use Skype, for example, or in years we send each other files by the internet. But the crucial thing was the time when we came together and really physically together in the Netherlands and working on each other's tracks. I think that made a huge difference. And luckily that was before the pandemic hit. So we had no problems with the pandemic whatsoever. Just at the very end of the recording process, we had some troubles because then the lockdown started. I could fortunately record my vocals in my home studio, and Simone rented a studio close to where she lives in Stuttgart in Germany. And like this, it still worked well, but it was luckily we were just finished with the orchestra and choir recordings, because that would have been a big problem if in lockdown it was simply not possible to record the choir and an orchestra.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching us, being with us. You know, they are from Chicago, they are from Mexico, they are from Jordanie.
Nice.
Heba. And what are there are some questions. Alafin de Fohem Noir 2. Can't wait to discover the third part on the new album. This is Sigmund Fred. Benjamin, what guitar you love to use? I want to buy one in the future because I want to learn how to play guitar myself.
I love my Ibanez guitars. So I'm also here in my home studio and sitting here. So I have always my guitar within reach whenever I have an idea. And most of my guitars, I tour with them, so they are in the Netherlands. So I just have a couple of guitars here at home. But all Ibanez, just one Paul Reed Smith. I have is a present from a friend of mine. Before he passed away, he gave all his guitars to his friends, and in that way he said everybody will remember me by my guitars. It's a beautiful thought, and it's a beautiful guitar, and I always remember him when I play the guitar. So it's it's a beautiful way of remembering him.
Yeah, all the guitars that you have are 7 strings.
Yeah, all my guitars are 7 strings. Just a Paul Reed Smith is 6 string.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the question for Benjamin. Are you watching Attack of Titan?
No, I'm not. I'm watching Versailles on Netflix. That's the series I'm watching at the moment.
Okay. Mark, you almost finished your setlist with Consign of Oblivion. It is an awesome song, but have you ever considered another song to finish a show?
Yeah, we sometimes did also finish the shows with other songs, but they didn't work so well as that one. So, but now we have a whole new album, so maybe we're gonna switch it again. It's always nice to try something new. So maybe we're gonna leave this one out for a while. It's possible.
Great answer. You're a humble person, Mark, from Mark.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Mark, in the last 2 albums, we saw a lot of songs that have a more typical structure, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Does Ωmega have a couple of songs with more unusual structures?
Yes, for sure. Kingdom of Heaven Part 3 has a very unusual structure. But we have most of the songs have a quite logical structure still. Within that structure, we try to experiment a little bit. But I must say that songs like The Obsessive Devotion, which have a very unusual structure, I like them a lot too. So for me, it's not really necessary to have a clear structure. But our producer Joost van den Broek, he's a very big fan of clear structure. So he always tries to guide us a bit in a way of structures.
Okay, hello from Brazil. You're a great artist. I admire you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Shibi, I would love to see another studio session for this album, just like the Phantom Agony album. I really loved it.
Maybe in the future.
Oblivion Sigmund Freud, great question. Okay. Zina Dibuskaya. So, when you don't like someone's songs, how do you say? Looks quite difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a matter of psychology. So you don't say to somebody it sucks. That cannot get hurt somebody's feeling. But after so many years, you find your ways to tell to somebody that you don't like a song, or you say like it's a great song, but for this album, you know this. You always have to see what the situation is that day, and but usually when people, there's quite some uniformity about it. When 5 people of the band don't like it, then you find a way to tell each other and make some good selections without hurting somebody.
And that works even for Mark Jansen, I think. No, they can say you no, Mark, not this time, not good enough.
Yeah, that goes also for me. I also write songs that don't make it to the album, and then they also find their ways to tell to me the same way. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and if you're convicted with a song that isn't accepted for EPICA, you let it for another project. Okay, this will be a Mayan project, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that I believe in a song, like the Flaming Rage of God, for example. I really believe in that song. And in Mayan, the guys liked the song, so I used it for Mayan. So the good thing about having more projects is that when you really believe in a song, you can use it for another project. And I still love the Flaming Rage of God. I just for Mayan, we rewrote the chorus a bit to make it more heavy, because for Mayan it fits more heavy stuff.
Yeah. Joanna Campos, counting down to O'Mega, can't wait, the world definitely needs it. Okay, yes, all of your songs speaks to my soul and give me goosebumps.
Yeah, happy to hear that.
Miriam, The Abyss of Time is very nice, Chuck, but I love Rivers because the lyrics touches my heart, let me more strong.
Yeah, really love that song too.
Something. Tell me a little bit about the river.
Yeah, it's a nice story because Rob, he came up with the idea for the song and also wrote basically the whole song. And he had a dream about him drowning in a river. And when he woke up, he remembered that, and he started writing it down and working on the atmosphere of what he felt. And it became the song. Then he sent me the first versions, and then we worked a little bit on the mid part. And yeah, but I right away had a very good feeling about this song. I thought this is going to be an album track. And luckily, the other guys were also very enthusiastic. And then he worked with Simone a lot on the vocal lines and the lyrics. And in the 5 days that we were also there in that house together, they worked a lot together. And then it became this song. So my role in it is very small, but I really love this track. A really beautiful one, a pearl on the album.
Yeah, it can be a hit that can go on all the radios. And the fact is that this song, there's so the kid chorus and the strings. Did you imagine the kid chorus and the strings when you were writing the song, or that came after in the?
It came after, because the original songs were all written to be without children choir, and but then Koen came up with the idea to integrate a children choir on the album, and he also arranged the parts and selected the songs where he thought it would fit the best. And we trust Koen completely with his judgment about choirs, because he's the chef choirs. We all arrange in our own songs the choirs as best as we can, but then he lifts it to the next level, so to say. And he did an amazing job with this children choir arrangement. So kudos to Kun. Great job.
And this is another testimony from Perillo. I get that with the rivers, I'm listening like 18 times and got goosebumps every single time.
Very nice. Thank you.
Paula Desiree, recording an album in this pandemic situation must be a great challenge. I am sure EPICA has done a superb job. They never disappoint.
We do our so best.
Look, when we begin.
What was the question? Because there was a little hiccup.
Yeah, maybe I got some connection trouble. So when we began with the first song, you were growling and Simone singing, and you was really on duet on the song, you know.
Yeah.
But you have to say that you recorded your growling in Sicily.
Yes.
And Simone recorded it in Germany near her house.
Yes.
So what a synchronicity, you know. That was very, I think, difficult.
Yeah, I recorded first, and then she recorded after. So it's not like that we both recorded it separately and not knowing if it would fit together. She could hear what I was doing and then anticipate on it. So that it works still well, even though when you're not in the same room. We had to work the best way we could during the pandemic and the given circumstances. And I was really happy that we could still record in a great way like this. Of course, when you are in the studio together, it has its advantages too. But when I was recording here alone, it also had advantages because I could record whenever I wanted. And I really love recording at 10 o'clock in the night, for example. My voice is well at that time of the day, but no producer ever wants to record at 10 o'clock in the evening. So now I could record whenever I wanted.
Yeah, but Simone had to record early in the morning, and she's unused to that.
Yeah, she records at different times of the day for sure. But also she rented a studio, so she had to show up at certain hours.
Yeah. Rivers came at the right time. It has helped me get through losing my mother to COVID. So thank you.
Thank you so much. My condolences. It's a very hard time, especially when you lose your parent. It's beyond terrible. It's I once lost my grandmother, who was like a mom to me. I dedicated Kingdom of Heaven Part 1 to her. I also lost my other grandmother last year. But when you lose your true mother, it's even must be even heavier. So my condolences, and I'm happy that Rivers at least can be of having a great purpose of making people feel good.
Yeah. It's streaming very important even for not mainstream artists.
Yes, definitely. Even though with streaming you don't earn much, I must say it's peanuts compared to selling albums. Still, it's better than nothing. So I'm happy with every stream still people do. And I'm not the kind of old school metalhead that complains about people streaming and should buying albums. I'm on the contrary. I'm happy that people still buy albums, and I'm very thankful to them. And I'm also happy when people stream, because it's an easy way of listening to music. I stream also music myself. So I'm the last person on earth getting mad to other people for streaming music.
Just have to thank everyone that is watching the interview and putting a lot of questions. Thank you for the help, guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
And please, just if you want, you can subscribe to ZanZanA channel. So there's this question from Eli Tool. what certain elements are we going to see in Ωmega that is different than the previous album?
Yeah, there's some, for example, a lot of oriental instruments, and that we recorded in Calcutta, and that's something that we never done before. So oriental instruments, but also played by local people. So on the Code of Life, it's people gonna enjoy that one, I guess.
Where did you record it?
In Calcutta.
South America?
No, India.
Ah, India. Guy, you are Sicily. You are 2 hours long from plane to Tunisia. Why don't you came to Tunisia to record oriental oriental instruments? And there's a is in Tunis.
Yeah, maybe next time. It's we are always open to work with new people and from different countries. So, but this time it was Koen. He had and Joost, the producer, he had the connections with the local people. He recorded already with them before, so he could easily ask them to play on this song. But we are always working with new people and from everywhere around the world. The world has become anyway more and more a unity. So next time is maybe Tunisia, and even though there's already a connection on this one, and Africa, Australia, America.
That is a question that is very hard, I think, for someone who just released an album. What's your favorite song from Ωmega?
Yeah, with a pistol on my head, when somebody says you have to choose one. And then I would say Kingdom of Heaven Part 3. That's my favorite song. I'm extremely proud of this one. I listened already the most of the album, this song. So it must be my favorite.
So excited for Kingdom of Heaven 3. 1 and 2 were amazing. The structure, the lyric, the emotion behind it.
What I hear so far from people that have already heard the album, because there's some certain interviewers who heard the album already and they interviewed me, and they were all very enthusiastic about Kingdom of Heaven Part 3. So I say that I really cannot wait now for it to be released, because now I'm really eager to hear the opinions of all the fans, what they're going to say about this song.
Yeah, and Paula Desiree, Kingdom of Heaven, what a masterpiece.
Thank you so much, Paula.
Kazimierz, Bibi, Mark, greetings from Poland. You said lately that the next video will be in close of Ωmega release on 26th February.
Yes, that's right. And that one is recorded in Poland. So it has a connection with you. And it's the skeleton key one, and it's indeed when around the release date, that's our last video going to be released, and then we have 4 songs released. It's more than ever before, and 4 videos. So we worked hard this time.
Yeah, you took too much. So too much time. Hi, Tamara. Apology. Yes, okay. Okay, that's done. That's it.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw this one.
It was revealed in one of your interviews that ZanZanA will be featured in Code of Life. How did that happen, and how did you choose him?
Yeah, we toured already with him, so we know him very well. Very nice guy. And Koen, he wrote the song, and he wanted some atmospherical vocals on the song. And Zaher was the first guy that came to his mind. So he asked him, and he said yes right away. So he didn't have to look any further. And Zaher did an amazing job. It sounds really in the vein of the song. It gives the song an extra touch. And yeah, really great effort.
I read that you had two songs with Arabic tunes.
Yes. Yeah, and the other one, it's the Seal of Solomon. It's also with Arabic oriental sound. And one was written by Koen, Code of Life, and the Seal of Solomon I wrote. Both we have yeah, we like this scale, to work with the Arabic scale. And yeah, so people who like oriental tunes from the Middle East, they're gonna have a good time with these tracks.
Ladies and gentlemen, EPICA, Arabic band.
Yeah, more than ever before.
Benjamin says to you, thank you. Hi, Mark. I know you and Simone wrote the lyrics for Freedom together. How did that happen? And what was the process like?
Yeah, indeed, we wrote it together, and I had really touched by the idea of the old Cherokee in America who told his grandson about the two wolves within. And I read the story, and I decided it would be great to write a song about it. And Simone also felt touched by this topic, and we decided to write it together. So we were squeezing the lyrics and sending back and forth to each other. And so it happened. So it's very nice to have one lyric actually written together this time.
We remember the album Ωmega on March 26. So I think all the fans of EPICA in the world are waiting for it. And the other reason is that when we hear, when you see the clip and listen to the songs, it's something that is very, very, very marvelous. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hamkileni, do you practice your stage presence? How?
Yeah, the last year I didn't practice my stage presence anymore because there's no shows. But usually before we start playing a show, I also try the songs with by standing, playing the guitar when I'm standing. Because when you all the time play on your lap and you play suddenly a show, it can be feeling a bit awkward because you're so used to playing while seated. So usually, yeah, before we start playing, I try to play the whole set like if I'm playing really on a stage.
Okay, about the writing of the lyrics, is it a process between you and Simone, or even the other members have is it a democracy even in the lyrics choice?
Now the lyrics is basically Simone and me, yes. But when somebody has an idea, they can always present it. So also, for example, Koen, he is very much involved in the choirs, like we discussed. And also when there's lyrics for the choirs, he is always very much involved in that. So he always is very closely working with us on these choir parts, the lyrics. So it's yeah, it's also quite a team effort for the band.
Okay. When you write songs, how do you know which are going to Mayan or EPICA? The one who's rejected by EPICA goes to Mayan.
No, with Mayan we usually write the songs together when we are jamming. So then easily we know these are for Mayan because we wrote them together. And there are sometimes some songs that are waiting for to be used, and then yeah, like we said, for example, "Flaming Rage of God" was not did not fit for EPICA, and then ended up on a Mayan album. But usually it's very clear for which band song is most suitable.
Yeah, the same question from Annie Galuska. How Simone and you share the writing of the lyrics?
Yeah, it's usually also like this. We see which songs that we feel the strong connection with, and then we divide the songs. And usually I write the lyrics also for the songs that I write the music myself, and then for the other tracks that are remaining, we usually decide which one we have the strongest feeling with. It's always a very natural and easy process.
Yeah. And what's a song you're particularly proud of, both musically and lyrically?
Yeah, that must be Kingdom of Heaven Part 3. I'm most proud of that one. But even though I must say that with this album, I'm really proud of the whole album as a whole. So if you listen from beginning till the end, I'm proud of that whole piece of music. But yeah, if you make me choose, then I would say particularly Kingdom of Heaven Part 3, musically and also lyrically.
Juana Campos, so excited to hear all these worldwide cultural influences with the choir and the orchestra. Definitely counting down. Can't wait to get my Ωmega bundle.
Yeah.
Marim, very nice artwork. Let's speak a little bit about the artwork of the album.
Yes, it's made by Stefan. We're working already with him for a very long time, many albums, and he usually we send him the lyrics and the music, and then he comes up with his own interpretation of the lyrics, and then we do some fine tuning back and forth. And but he sent us already the scribble of this cover, and we were right away, we liked his idea, and yeah, it was like a one shot. Then he came up with the more detailed version. And we changed some of the symbols on the cover, because I wanted to have the Ankh, for example, on it. And Koen had the idea of the number 8 on the forehead, which is a number 8 of our 8th album. But also, if you turn it, it's like the infinity symbol. So with there's many details, like always, on the album cover.
Yeah, and you know. I think it's you that had the choice of the name of album, Ωmega, but Ωmega is the end.
Yeah, but it refers to the Omega point theory. So it's not referring to an end, but it's referring to the theory which states that we are all fated as universe to swirl towards one point of unification. And I really liked that concept, and it was like the starting point of the lyrics.
Yeah, tell me, before the lyrics, there's the concept, there's the idea, there's the theme of what you want to say, and when you have a name like Ωmega, that means that there's a concept. So is it something that you were looking for in the brainstorming before going to the album? There was the idea of the thing that you wanted to say?
No, it's like a process that happens along the way. Simone and I, we are both reading books, watching documentaries, things that interest us. And when we are in the process of making the album, and there's a lot of music written already, the music gives us also certain ideas. And then we combine the things that interest us with the things we feel while listening to the music. So it's like a going with the flow thing. And then you don't have to think too much, but just let the words flow. And of course, you integrate some topics that you definitely want to have in there. But then for the rest, usually the lyrics write themselves in a way. So because you go with the flow, you have a certain feeling, and you're looking for certain words that work well with the vocal line. And then it's like solving a puzzle. You're solving it, and at a certain point you feel like, it's solved. Now I'm really happy with the lyric.
Is Ωmega basically the same as the Big Crunch Freeze?
Yeah, I like to do coldness adaptation training, and I did myself today. I took an ice bath of 15 minutes outside in the rain. It was the first time that I did it in the rain, so there was this rain falling, and I was surrounded by water. It feels amazing. Then you get out of it, and it's like for 2-3 hours that day, you feel like on top of the world. And if Ωmega gives that same feeling to the people, like being on top of the world, amazing, happy, then would be great. Yeah, I would be happy.
Okay. Question from Mohamed Kileni. Thoughts about passing of Alexis Lao? He has been such an influence on my playing and still is.
Yeah, it's a very sad passing. It was also very sad to hear that news. When I was young, I already went to concerts when I was a teenage metalhead, and he was already pretty young, playing and touring with Children of Bodom. So he was already touring when I was still building my first band After Forever. And I really got inspired by Children of Bodom. So Children of Bodom was one of the influences for After Forever back in the days. So Alexi has been playing a very important role in my musical life as well. So yeah, it's a very sad and lose more musicians during these hard times.
Mark, this is a question I was going to ask, so thank you, Tamara. What do you think of the virtual concerts? Maybe some virtual concert of EPICA in the future?
It's definitely one of the options we consider, because if it takes too long before we can do actual shows, then a live stream is the second best thing that you can do, at least much better than doing nothing at all. So I even think that in the near future, people anyway put on a mask and a suit, and then the virtual reality is so well developed that you feel like actually being at a concert. I think that that's going to happen in the near future anyway, and then nobody needs to travel across the globe to watch a concert anymore. Because
this is difficult for the mosh pit, you know.
Yeah, but you can even do a mosh pit. If it really feels at a certain point the same as an actual concert, that you cannot distinguish the difference anymore, then it wouldn't make sense to travel 5 hours to go to a concert, or 12 hours or to go to a concert anymore. Yeah, I really think that the development of technology the next 10 years will go really fast.
Yeah. What's the best advice that has ever been given to you, or you ever gave to other musicians?
The best advice that I give to others is that they should not listen to others' advice. And that's also always what I did myself in the life. Some people gave advice that I thought was not true, and then I followed my own intuition, and that got me where I am now. And I think that's the best advice you can also give to others. Follow your own intuition, because you only know yourself, what's best for you and what you truly want to do in your musical career.
Okay, this is just come to say hi. We miss the shows so much. Can't wait to see you on stage with all the new songs.
Cannot wait either.
And yeah, another question from Ankileni. What is the worst and best memory of playing live?
To start with the best. And actually, that was the first time we played in Tunisia. Yeah. So there was so many people, because we were the first international metal band to play in Tunisia, and the people were crying of happiness, and I felt that happiness too. So that was actually one of my best memories of playing live shows. And the worst one must have been when we played, I think, in Ecuador. We arrived with a jet lag, but I was so stubborn to go cycling and climbed one of the highest mountains of Ecuador in the afternoon. And while that's very much on altitude, but when you're not used to it, it can be quite a difference between sea level, and suddenly you're on 5,000 meters, and or 4,000. I don't remember how high it was actually, but it was pretty high, where you can almost not breathe. The same evening I had to play the show. And I remember then, with the jet lag and the huge effort I did the afternoon, I had blackouts. I didn't remember some of the songs.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the first time it happened to me, that I stood there and I didn't know what to do. And it was actually the worst nightmare of every musician, that you had these nightmares, that you play a song and don't know what to do. And that day it actually happened to me. So I'm not going to do that again, to climb big mountains with a jet lag and everything. And the same day, sometimes I think that I'm Superman, but I'm not.
Oblivion 7, it's no secret that Requiem for the Indifferent production quality isn't the best. If you were to re-release a new RTFI version, would you re-record it or remix it?
I would definitely maybe even re-record some parts and definitely also remix it. Because I think, that it can be very beneficial for that album, which is indeed also my least favorite making album. And I think there's a lot of things to gain. So if we ever can re-release the album with a new production and new mix, I would be happy with that.
Yeah, but please don't re-record your growls because in the last album they sound too synthesized and natural, in my opinion.
Yeah, everybody has a different taste. So I'm happy with this, how they sound, and especially on the new Ωmega album, I'm very pleased, and so I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Tell me, in the last for preparation for album Ωmega, you made some acoustic version of some songs. Is this an option for maybe an unplugged album in the next month?
Next month, I don't know, but it's something that can happen in the future, indeed, because we are sometimes discussing it. We didn't find the right time yet, but as we feel happy making these acoustic versions, and maybe even writing a couple of new songs for an acoustic album combined with some best of versions that we did already in the past. Yeah, it's definitely an idea that can come to fruition in the future.
There was a French singer named Bernard Lavillier who said when you can sing a song with only a guitar and it's good, that it's a good song. Is it true?
Yeah, it's true. Every strong song can be played with just a guitar and a voice, because then the melody is already, you can already how you say that, hear clearly. So when the basis of a song is good, you can play it with a guitar, and the vocal line is good with the voice. Then you can play it as a singer-songwriter version.
Lots of questions with Mohammed. The Guitar Geek question: amp simulation or real tube amps?
I always go for the real tube amps because that's the real thing. That nothing goes above the real thing. But that being said, I was very much against the fake amps in the past. But now with this positive grid, they reach such a level that it's really amazing as well. So when I record demos, I always use my positive grid simulation amp, because it's so amazing for making. But when we do a live show, we still go with the real thing. So I love both, but for studio recording or a live show, I would say the real amp.
Berendi Elisabetta, is the Wim Hof method affecting your voice, and if yes, how?
I don't know if it's affecting my voice, because
excuse me, what is Wim Hof?
That's the coldness adaptation training, taking ice baths, for example.
Okay.
I never did it right before a show, so I don't know if it affects my voice. And now in the last year that it's, I'm taking very much ice baths. We never had a show anymore due to the pandemic. So I would have to answer that question in the future.
Casimir's PP personal preference, but I think the Gross sound overproduced. Mark Gross, it's an answer. Okay, it's not a question. Virtual reality is an amazing technology, but nothing will ever beat the real, raw, and enthralling energy of a real live experience. Yeah.
At this point, that's definitely true. But I have the feeling that the technology will go so fast that in the near future, you don't feel the difference anymore. Maybe it's almost unimaginable at this point, but
I don't think technology can ever mimic the energy our cells and musical vibration produce.
Yeah, in a way, there's also a lot of theories that we are already living in a virtual reality. So if that would be true, we are already living in a kind of simulation.
And here is it, but it would be an interesting experience, and nonetheless, Mark, you said the Skeleton Key video is the saved, the best for the last. What we could expect?
Yeah, it's my favorite video of the 4. So the Skeleton Key, indeed, we saved the best for last, so to say. And it's a pretty dark video, so with a dark atmosphere, almost like a horror movie.
Yeah. Annie Galugska, have you already chosen the song of the set list of the concerts?
Yeah, we had some thoughts about it, but we don't go too much into detail because first we want to see when there will be concerts again, and then think further about it.
What about the song with Spanish lyrics from Scarlet? There's a song with Spanish lyrics?
There's one acoustic version, which of the acoustic version of Code of Life has Spanish lyrics, indeed.
Okay. And what about this song?
Yeah, it's the Code of Life itself is on the album, and then the acoustic version, we decided to have some Spanish lyrics because the acoustic version has a very Latin feel. So we thought it would be good to have also with the lyrics also catch this Latin feel. Are
there plans for a next live DVD in Latin America?
Yeah, at this point, not yet, but you never know in the future.
Gotti, are you into cooking lately?
No, luckily I'm in the fortunate position to have a lovely girlfriend who cooks all the time. So I don't have to do anything. Luckily, I'm getting sometimes doing some work for the food itself to produce it. So I'm not doing nothing, but the cooking itself, I'm having not much to do.
Can you explain the new Blu-ray in the near future or re-release of one of the first 2 DVD or Blu-ray, because I can't find them anymore? And what is your favorite EPICA album so far, and with what won you?
And what with what?
There's a special, how I say it, length for the comment when you go over that length.
Yeah, my favorite EPICA album, I would say, is either ZanZanA Universe or the Quantum Enigma. But it's sometimes changes also because I also have a strong feeling with the Phantom Agony and the Divine Conspiracy. It's very hard to choose because it's many albums that I really like a lot.
Okay. And what so far, and with what you had the most fun in making about the album?
The configuration. Yeah, we always have fun with every album. There's good moments and blood, sweat, and tears moment. So we always make sure that we have a good time when we are together and in the studio. So there's not really one in particular that was most fun. They all have their charm, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, not everything fits. Yeah. Can you expect a new DVD with orchestra on the 20th band anniversary?
Yeah, we're almost already at the 20th anniversary, and we don't know yet if shows can happen at the time. So with all these questions, yeah, let's hope that we can play live shows, but we first have to see how everything's going to develop the upcoming time. Every time we think like, oh, we're almost at the end of it, and then there's a new mutation, a new strain here. It seems like the light at the end of the tunnel is sometimes far away. But we keep the faith, and as soon as we can play live shows again, we start making plans again. But at this point, it's very hard to make plans because every time things change again.
Yeah, but Mark, okay, it costs, but you can make, you can record a concert and play live with a big orchestra like the one you played with in Prague. For one big show that
change and
even progresses, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the rules change, and then you cannot be with a certain amount of people together in one room with a whole orchestra. So it's a very tricky time to organize things like that at this moment.
Yeah. Let's get everyone get the vaccine. No, here.
In the ass.
In the ass, yeah.
I once had a vaccine in my ass, by the way.
When we were a child, every one of us had the vaccine in the ass.
Yeah, but I had it at a later age. When I was in Brazil, I had a terrible sun allergy, and then I had to go to the doctor, and they gave me a vaccine in the ass, and then I could still play the concert at that evening.
The question: in what ways do you think EPICA sound could evolve after Ωmega? Do you think EPICA could try some new style genre or be more progressive or death metal than the other albums?
Yeah, to be honest, we haven't started thinking about that yet, because we're fully focused on the album release, and then first we want this album to get released and have its full attention, and then we will start thinking about a future album release. For us, it feels not like the right time yet to think about the next album, because this is our baby that comes out now and deserves our full attention and focus.
Lot of question. Arkanoth, I try to put on air everyone that put a question for the first time. What will get to remix remaster of Requiem for the Indifferent on its 10th anniversary next year? Lots of anniversary and lots of
it's definitely an option, but that's something that everybody would have to be on board with. And with ZanZanA Universe, that's a very popular album, and Requiem for the Indifferent is because it's very progressive, is not so popular among the general fans. So I don't know if there's enough possibility for that one to make a remix remaster for that album. But personally, I would really love to make one.
We spoke about Alex Lao, but what do you think of him? And have you ever played with Alex Lao? So
we answered that question.
Yeah, we answered. My favorite song of EPICA is "Full of Damnation" from Diallo Mode.
Also one of my favorites. I really always love to play that song, and it's one of my favorites in the set list. It's a great one to play live with a good energy. So it's a good choice from Diallo.
Hi everyone from Maximov, Iceland. Serious question. Given the latest resignation and statement of Nightwish bass player Marco Hietala, what do you think about the current music industry?
I think it's a very hard time, and I think with Marco, you see like coming to the surface what many musicians are going through. I know quite some musicians in the scene, and I know that many are struggling a lot. because many also don't know to wait for things to reopen or to search for a new job. Yeah, it's really very difficult for many musicians to make at this point the right decision what to do with their life. And Marco made a very brave decision, I think. And if your heart tells you to do something else, I think you must follow your intuition. And so he did, because apparently he was very unhappy with the current situation, and also he seemed to me pretty angry about how the music industry is nowadays. Like, you have to work your ass off and you earn not much. And there's a certain amount of people that make a lot of money, and all the rest get almost nothing. For example, these bosses of streaming companies, they earn a lot, and the artists, they get very relatively small percentage. And I get frustrated and disillusioned. But personally, I keep the spirit up. I'm still happy being in EPICA. And of course, we all hope that this is not going to take too long with this current situation. But it's something beyond our control. And yeah, that's all we can do. Wait and see how it's developed, and hoping that it affects the least amount of people, and also in general musicians and the crews of bands, because let's also not forget about the crew. They also really suffering from one day to another, suddenly have no jobs anymore. So yeah, it's a very hard time, but eventually we will pull through.
Yeah. Tell me, you spoke about biking. Last week I discovered your interest of biking, but now I understand that it's a very old thing, going biking, and you had EPICA fits now, biking shirt and biking shorts and things like that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we have an EPICA cycling team, and that's with people from all over the world, like in Australia, South America, North America, Europe, Russia, name it. And there's people riding around with EPICA jersey. And it's really cool, because often when I was on tour, people invite me and they bring a bike for me, and then we go for a ride together. So it's really like a group within the metal scene. So the metalheads also love cycling. They form together the EPICA cycling team. And we also have a group on Facebook where we share all the nice rides we do. So it's a very nice inner circle group.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's. Did you cycle in Tunisia?
No, but I did some running in Tunisia.
Yeah.
But I did never cycle there. No.
Yeah. And there's a question about this one. Where is it? Here it is. I know that you like to bike and ride and see new views when you travel, and it just completely took your breath away.
Yeah, actually, I live in Sicily, and here the scenery is so beautiful. I always describe it as cycling in a painting. And especially now in February and March, then it's like everything is green, and then the spring starts, and the trees are flowering. It's such a beautiful time. And when I go for a bike ride now on a sunny day, it's so beautiful. It's sometimes I have to squeeze my arm how beautiful this scenery is here. And also I cycled in New Zealand, the other side of the world. Also really beautiful. So literally Sicily and New Zealand are my favorite places to ride the bike.
I saw a question, but I can't find it. It said, "What do you listen music when you cycle, when you go on bike?"
I don't listen to music when I bike, because I want to hear the sounds, and not only because I want to hear the sounds, but also people drive here like crazy. The same as in Tunisia. People drive the car here, they drive like if they are all Michael Schumacher. So when I want to stay alive, so I want to hear every car that approaches me and make the right moves, and that cannot be when I listen to music while cycling. So I rather stay safe.
Mountains or seasides?
Both. I cannot decide. I like both because always when I went on holidays with my parents when I was young, we always went 1 week to the mountains and 1 week to the sea, because my mom likes more the mountains and my father likes more the sea, and I inherited both.
Tamara Escobar, someday in Argentina, the Epic Apocalypse tour would be amazing.
Yeah.
Tamara, you're listening to us from Argentina? Wow!
Yeah.
Yeah. What is okay?
He's from my roots, referring to United Metal Minds. That is, that's a project that we have with a lot of people all over the world. And as soon as this pandemic is a bit slowed down, we can actually book the studio, because there's quite some people having to fly in to record the album. At this point, it's too tricky, but we have already many songs written, and Bram wrote one of the songs, and Danger. Yeah.
Dear Omot said so much support, United Metal Minds, so much support on dealing in that project.
Yeah, she's also part of the project.
Okay. Oblivion, do you feel like let program metal or Requiem for the Indifferent friends set down after the Quantum Enigma and Holographic Principle, which were less froggy and more catchy, mainstream oriented?
Yeah, we always follow our heart and we do what feels like we are excited to do. So every album is a representation of what we feel like doing at that point. So some albums will be a little bit more progressive, some albums a bit more in that direction, but usually, they all sound Epica anyway. But with Requiem for the Indifferent was obviously the most progressive album we did, and the least favorite of the fans. So apparently most fans don't like us to become too prog. Maybe it's also because of the mix of the album, but or the combination of both.
And there's Velo is your favorite football club. What do you think of the Greek striker?
Yeah, Giacomakis. Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He scored already 21 goals in 20 games. And never we had such a striker that made so many goals. So we are in a very blessed position, and he stays with us for at least this half season that remains, and then probably somebody's going to pay a lot of million euros for this guy. But we are very happy with him, and he makes us proud. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a football fan?
Yeah, big football fan. And Venlo, I'm born in Reuver, close to Venlo. So that's my team. I support my local team. And so it's a relatively small team, but we are in the highest league. So we play against Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV. So it's nice to have almost the smallest budget, but fight against the biggest teams.
And if we can, after Venlo, who are your favorite teams in Europe?
Borussia Mönchengladbach, because it's also pretty close to Reuver. I support always all the local teams. And in France is Bastia. They are now very much down. And let's see, in Sicily, it's the team of Catania, but they're also now very much down. So it's not my favorite teams are not in the high leagues anymore. Only in Germany and Netherlands, my favorite teams are in the high league now.
Tell me, you like Bastia because Johnny Rep played there?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. But also, I visited Corsica when I was a kid, and I fell in love with the island. So that's the second reason.
Yeah. Are you learning Italian? How do you communicate in Sicily? Tu parli italiano adesso?
Sì, un poco. Io capisco. Anche siciliano. Non c'è scassare la minchia.
Yeah. Oh, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, because here almost nobody speaks English, so the only way to communicate is in Italian. So I can find my way around, and I know the basics. But when it's a complicated story about politics, I have to switch to English.
I learned the Italian by guardando la TV, looking at
TV.
because in Tunisia we had Rai Uno for a very long time. There was Tunisian TV and Rai Uno.
Yeah, that's a great way of learning it. Yes.
E così ho imparato l'italiano e non sapevo.
Yeah, then it's easy. But for me, it's difficult because I got to Italy when I was already 33. Then it's already an age when it's very hard to learn a new language. So I speak already 4, like German, Dutch, English. Italian for me is the slowest to get into. Even though I live here and I talk Italian to people, still it's very hard for me to make that next step.
Yeah. Mark, 1 hour and wow.
Yeah.
1 hour and a half. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that your girlfriend is going to tell me, Karim, okay, shut this live stream off.
Yeah, she didn't call me yet, but she's surely waiting for me to come to eat.
So thank you very much, and
you're welcome.
Congratulations with this new album, Ωmega. Everyone is listening, waiting for it. 26th of February, and that's it. I think it's another gap for EPICA.
Yeah, I'm really proud, and now I really cannot wait it to be the 26th, because now finally it's going to happen. So I'm stoked, and after the 26th, I'm more than curious to hear the reactions of all the people.
Yeah, but you know, when we see all the reactions of the fans today, now in the stream, and all the questions, all the interest, I think it's EPICA is going in the right way.
Yeah, now let's hope that we can also play in the right way. But yeah, let's end with a positive note. After chaos comes always a great time of prosperity again. So I cannot wait for this beautiful new era that starts after we leave the chaos behind.
Okay, so choose which one. Okay, let's finish with rivers, because everyone loved the rivers. So
yes.
Let's finish with the rivers.
Good
Mark,
choice.
Thank you very much. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you too. Thanks for having me.
As usual. Thank you.